This is Optimal Work Daily, episode 1305, The Deep Uncertainty of Meaningful Work by Babauta of zenhabits.net. And I am Dan, I'm your host, and today we're going to hear from one of our regular authors who you'll hear all across our network of podcasts, and that is Babauta. So let's get to it now as we optimize your life. The Deep Uncertainty of Meaningful Work by Babauta of zenhabits.net. A man I know wanted to create a nonprofit organization that was going to help give people a voice who don't have that voice in our society. He felt really strongly about this issue and knew that this would have a big impact on people who he cared deeply about. But he kept putting off starting. He was like a million others who want to do meaningful work, write a book, fight for those who are powerless, create a startup, code a phone app that could change lives, volunteer at a charity, launch a business that has a heart. We put off doing this work because of deep uncertainty. This man, like many of you, wasn't sure if he could do it. He wasn't sure how to go about doing it. He was worried that people would judge him, worried about what they might say. He didn't know what path to take, was overwhelmed by how much there was to do, discouraged that he kept having to start over. These are just a small subset of the doubt, fear, and certainty we all face when we think about doing something meaningful. So this man made a list, everything he had to do. He picked the first thing on the list and told himself he'd do it tomorrow. Tomorrow came, and it turns out he needed to organize all the files on his computer. Oh, and clean his desk, and also his bedroom and kitchen. Once these things were done, then he'd be all clear to go. He started the next day, but wondered if he was using the right tools. He did a search and spent the day researching the best tools for what he needed to do. That led to a lot of other research, so that he didn't feel he was procrastinating. The tools research led him to research a bunch of other things, and he felt good doing this research. He spent weeks in the research phase, not tackling the things on his list, but just reading and searching and taking notes. He told himself he was doing the meaningful work. He decided he needed to get back to that first task on his list, so he told himself to do it tomorrow. Tomorrow came, but he decided to check his email first to see if anything important was in his inbox. He also answered messages and checked some news websites, answered some more emails, started organizing all the things he had to do, and paid some bills. That lasted several days. If he got all these things clear, then he'd be ready to work on the nonprofit. You can see where this is going. He found lots of reasons not to actually do the meaningful work. He was feeling worse and worse about himself at this point. But the people who he wanted to serve are those who continued to suffer. He himself was in a pretty comfortable life, other than the angst of not taking action. But those who he wanted to help were still suffering because he couldn't face the uncertainty. The story isn't over yet. He's still avoiding the uncertainty, but it's possible he'll turn and face it. Practice with it with full mindfulness. Be absolutely courageous and present with it, and then begin to open up to it, letting it transform him like a fire transforms metal. It's difficult at first, but he can relax into it and fall in love with it. The key is to open up to the deep uncertainty of this meaningful work. Recognize it as a necessary component of that work, not something to be feared or hated or avoided, but embraced and loved. It's like the uncertainty of falling in love. How boring would a relationship be without the shakiness of that uncertainty? We can learn to recognize the uncertainty of our meaningful work as the thrill of exploration, falling in love, adventure, learning, creating, playing, or serving those we love. Devoting ourselves to those we love helps us to open up to the uncertainty, to relax into it, because we allow our minds to open beyond the smallness of our self-concern. We see that there's more to this than worrying about our own comfort, and realize that the most meaningful moments in our lives were achieved with discomfort. And that wasn't a coincidence. The uncertainty and discomfort are a necessary component for us to do anything meaningful. We can train in this with love. You just listened to the post titled The Deep Uncertainty of Meaningful Work by Babauta of zenhabits.net. We're driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging. 93% of employers agree Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites. One of the things I love about Indeed is that it filters out those incompatible applicants. So when you're hiring, the process is much faster, and you only have to consider applicants that are already likely to be a great fit. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/startup. So just go to Indeed.com/startup right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/startup. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. You don't need me to tell you that something always comes up when you're running a small business. Take the pain out of payroll benefits and HR and put the joy back in running your business with Gusto. Gusto's payroll and HR services can make it a little easier. Gusto was designed for you, the small business owner. They take the pain out of running a business, automatically calculating paychecks, filing payroll taxes, setting up open enrollment. Gusto does it all. Want more? Time tracking, health insurance, 401k, onboarding, commuter benefits, offer letters, access to HR experts. Well, you get the idea. With Gusto, you can focus on the joy of running your business, and it's super easy to set up and get started. And if you're moving from another provider, Gusto can transfer all your data for you. So it's no surprise 94% of customers are likely to recommend Gusto. 94. And here's the best part. Because you're a listener, you get 3 months totally free. All you have to do is go to gusto.com/OWD. Again, that's gusto.com/OWD. And I'm telling you, you're going to love Gusto. Get started today. And thank you to Leo, who runs Zen Habits, of course. It is a site about finding simplicity and mindfulness in the daily chaos of our lives. It's about clearing the clutter so we can focus on what's important, create something amazing, and find happiness. It has over 1 million readers and was named one of the top 25 blogs by Time magazine. And if you enjoy his work, come on and check out our other shows where we narrate more of his content since he writes on so many different subjects. You can find all of our shows by searching for Optimal Living Daily wherever you get your audio and wherever you're hearing this. And hit subscribe or follow in your podcast app to make sure you get those new episodes every single day. You can also come by oldpodcast.com to see all the shows we have, plus more content as well. But that's going to do it for today. I hope you enjoyed the post and that you're having a great day out there. And I'll see you back here tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.